Things just keep going wrong for the Blue Jackets as they are finally in this final stretch of games. More injuries, more losses, more things to worry about. That's all coming up on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to bring you news, stories, the good, the bad, and the ugly, lots of that in this episode of your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before we get started, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms. We are over on YouTube, and we're getting ever closer and closer to the next milestone. If you haven't hit subscribe, please feel free to do so. So, a messy weekend for the Blue Jackets, I think, is probably the kindest way to put it. Overtime win against New York Islanders and an 8-2 loss to the Montreal Canadiens, and 4 more injuries are added to the list. We're going to go through all of that in due course. It's relentless. It just keeps on getting worse and worse and worse. Thank God the season is finally over. But let's talk a little bit about these games first, because I just checked, and the Blue Jackets in their last 5 games have allowed 7 goals, 7 goals, 7 goals, 4 goals, and 8 goals. Not great. The return of Merzlikins, I was like, okay, maybe things will start to kind of be on the up. He, I believe, played 35 minutes against Montreal, allowed 5 goals, and then left due to an injury. The Blue Jackets have also lost Daniil Tarasov to an injury as well, I believe, in down in Cleveland. So it's just everything just keeps happening. The Blue Jackets tandem right now is Michael Hutchinson, who is going to be starting tonight against the Rangers. We'll talk about that game in a little bit. And John Gillies, who I believe came over in the it would have been the Jacob Voracek trade from Arizona. So he's here. He's going to be backing up for the Blue Jackets tonight. Honestly, my hopes for the Blue Jackets allowing less than 7 goals are not super high. Again, like I said, we'll talk about the Rangers in a minute. That's the Blue Jackets' opponent tonight. They're scoring an average of 3.3 goals per game. So I would look to at least double that, frankly. I would not be surprised if the Blue Jackets allow 6 goals or more. It's been a whole mess. Michael Hutchinson finally got the victory against the New York Islanders, but like I said, the injuries just keep on coming. Patrick Laine got hurt in training. He's maybe done for the season. The Blue Jackets only have about 2.5 weeks left, or 3.5 weeks left, if you look at how I don't know how dates work. It's fine. They've got like 9 games left in the season, and I believe Patrick Laine is going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks. So my assumption is that he's done for the year, which really sucks. He was really kind of getting into the groove of that, I believe, on the Thursday or Friday episode last week, where I recorded before his injury news. He was, basically on pace to become a point per game. And then this happened, and so did a bunch of other things. And I was really hopeful that the Blue Jackets were going to kind of finish on a high. I wanted them to finish near the bottom of the standings. They are currently 31st. The Sharks are beating them in terms of, I believe the Blue Jackets have played an extra game, and the Sharks have fewer regulation wins than the Blue Jackets. So that's happening there. I'm not surprised that the Blue Jackets are still kind of hovering there. I would have liked to stay there, but also seen some good hockey. So who's to say? It's going to be a lot harder to play good hockey with Patrick Laine missing. It's going to be a lot harder to play good hockey with a bunch of stuff missing. I do want to shout out, though, in terms of some bright spots, Hunter McCowan made his NHL debut against the Islanders, and that was fun. He got his first career point. I believe it was a secondary assist on one of the goals, but really great to see him. He had a pretty decent debut. He was fine in Montreal. He's one of the only healthy Blue Jackets at the minute, which is fine, and I feel normal about that. Kirill Marchenko scored his 19th of the season, so he has, again, I'm just going to knock on wood here because this team is cursed, but he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's got 10 games, including tonight, to score one more goal to tie Pierre-Luc Dubois' record for most rookie goals, or 2 goals to pass that. The record is 20. If he hits 21, that's a new record. He's got 10 games to do that. And considering he's scoring at, I think he's got 19 goals in 50 something games. Like that feels like a pretty good bet that he's going to score at least once, if not twice, 3 times, 4 times in the next 10 games. So those are some little bright spots from those 2 games. And now we get to talk about everything else. We're going to talk injury news, who's missing, who's been called up, and what the Blue Jackets might look like tonight against the Rangers. We're going to talk all of that in just a minute. But first, I've got to tell you about a sponsor I use literally every day. Athletic Greens is really great. I wasn't sure about it. I'm pretty wary sometimes of these like all-in-one supplements for improving your life type thing, but AG1 does everything it says and more. I feel so much better in the morning. I get up, I make a coffee, I make my Athletic Greens, I sit down at my desk, and that's my morning routine. I feel better, I have more energy. Like, I was getting sick all the time, and I am being sick way less often now that I've been taking Athletic Greens for about a year. It is 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. Special blend of ingredients supports gut health, nervous system, immune system, energy, recovery, focus, and aging. And right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It is just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That is it. No need for a million different pills or supplements to look out for your health. And to make it even easier, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Speaking of insurance, I guess, the Blue Jackets have lost more guys to injury. I believe they've added 4 guys to the injury list as of the games against New York and Montreal, which is not super great. So Patrick Laine obviously hurt in practice. Then they lost Nick Blankenburg is out week to week with an ankle. I don't know if that's the same ankle that he hurt when he broke it. Mathieu Olivier also done in the Islanders game, lower leg bone bruise, which sounds extremely gnarly. 2 to 4 weeks, he might come back for the end of the season. Erik Gudbranson also injured in the Islanders game. That was a rough game for defensemen in there. He's separated his shoulder, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the 5th separated shoulder that the Blue Jackets have had this season, which does worry me. And that is something that I think I'm going to take a look at and think about and maybe talk to a couple of people about, because that feels like a lot of separated shoulders for one team. He's out for 6 weeks, so he's done for the rest of the season. And Elvis Merzlikins came back from personal leave and immediately got hurt. He's lower body injury, and he's day-to-day. So hopefully that's just a little bump. The Blue Jackets have got a pretty wide open schedule. So they've just had 2 days off, and then they play tonight, off tomorrow, on Thursday, off Friday, playing Saturday and then Sunday. So if we can get Merzlikins back for that Saturday-Sunday doubleheader, that would be ideal, but I don't know. We're going to be going Hutchinson and Gillies for at least tonight, probably Thursday as well against Boston, which again is a game that I have just kind of mentally written off already. I keep looking at it on the schedule and being like, yeah, it's fine. Well, what if we just don't play that one? What if we just agree to disagree? And what if we just give the Boston Bruins that win and call it a day? Unfortunately, the rules say that we have to play. We have to play that game. So we'll talk about that in a later episode. In a minute, we're going to talk about tonight's game. I'm very tired. I'm very jet lagged. I just got back Sunday morning and then immediately had to do a bunch of work. So I am still trying to catch up on being in this time zone. But that's beside the point. In a minute, we're going to talk about tonight's game against the Rangers and how we think that game is going to go. But first, I have got to tell you all about Built Bar, because Built Bar is one of my favorite things just on the entire planet. You know, I've never been into protein bars. They are too tough to chew. They taste bad. They've got that like weird chalky texture. Built Bars taste exactly like a candy bar, and I love them. I have a bunch in my kitchen right now. I've got lemon cheesecake and I've got grasshopper cookie. They are both unparalleled in terms of, well, I could have a candy bar or I could have a Built Bar, and I am always going to choose a Built Bar. They only have 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar with 17 grams of protein. And you don't need to wait around to get a box anymore. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built Bars online at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. You can still get them online, but if you are close to a Walmart and you think about, hey, maybe I'll just poke my head in and see if they have them, then I really recommend it. You don't have to wait for shipping. And everybody wins, including you, especially you, honestly, because Built Bars are the best. And I'm always going to be saying that. I know that a lot of things are, well, you just chill for this. It's the podcast. You just, no, that's not what it is. I genuinely have loved Built Bar since the first time I tried them. And even if we were not sponsored by them, I would still be giving them my money because they are that good. So go to Sam's Club, go to Walmart, go to Built.com. Thank me later. Let's talk about the New York Rangers, who are basically they're pretty set in their playoff thing, I guess. Their playoff seeding. They're not going to pass the Devils. They're probably not going to get overtaken by the Islanders. So it looks like that Devils-Rangers matchup is pretty much all set. The Blue Jackets are basically just playing for pride at this point and hopefully playing for the fact that I don't want them to lose to the Rangers. The Blue Jackets won the first outing 5-1, which I believe was the first time that they've won against the Rangers since Matisse Kivlenix, which that's a trip. And then the Rangers won their most recent game in January. This is the final game of the season. They've got another one on April 8th. So it's not the final game it's not the final time that the Blue Jackets are facing them. They might be finishing the season against the Rangers, actually, which that's a hell of a series finale. But I don't know, man. The Rangers are not as the Rangers, I think, are a better team than they were last season, but they have had less completely dominant goaltending. Shesterkin is still having a really good season. He's got a .914 save percentage with 2 shutouts. He's not Superman this season, but I think the team around him has improved enough that they might be able to surprise the Devils. They might be able to surprise some teams in the playoffs. They are 9th on the power play in the league. They're 12th on penalty kill. They are 12th in goals for per game and 5th in goals against per game. So, you know, all in all, it looks like it's a pretty solid team. Probably will match up pretty well against the Blue Jackets, who, like I said, they're missing Blankenburg, Gudbranson, Merzlikins, Line, Olivier, Billy Sweezy's being called up. He'll be playing tonight in place of Blankenburg, and I believe Jake Christensen was added to the game against Montreal to replace Gudbranson. So the defensive core is, again, going to look a little bit shaky. It's going to be Bayreuther, Bernie, Boquist, Peak, and Sweezy, which, like I said, that sure is a defense core. I believe that makes Andrew Peak the veteran of the group now with his, 170, 200 games in the NHL, which again, I feel fine about. I'm going to have to break out my defenseman math after this podcast to figure out what the average games played is, because I feel like it's low, especially with Gudbranson being out. He's at almost 700 games. So big loss in terms of experience anyway. I'm not expecting huge things from this game. Honestly, at this point, I'm rooting for Boone Jenner to hit 30 goals. I'm rooting for Johnny Gaudreau to be a point per game, and I'm rooting for Marchenko to hit the rookie scoring record. That's about where I'm at in terms of things I want from this team. I expect so little at this point. The Blue Jackets, and I've been as positive as I can be, I think, for the majority of this season in terms of this team has tried its best and struggled through a lot of adversity, and they've gone through injuries, they've gone through periods of bad play, they've had personal issues. I don't know how much more fight this team has in it. You look at the injury list, and it was getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and now it's just getting longer and longer again. That's probably, if you include Werenski, Danforth, and Bean, who are not coming back this season. Obviously, Voracek and Nyquist, who are done for the season as well. They are no longer on the roster, but there's 5 players with season-ending injuries, and then you look at Blankenburg could be done for the season. Gudbranson is done for the season. Olivier could be done for the season. That's 8 players, plus Liner, who is probably done for the season. There's 9 players who have been done for the season. That's 9 players who were on the roster, if not on that opening night roster. That's 9 regulars. That's tough. That's tough to overcome. And I don't know if the Blue Jackets, and honestly, I'm looking at the schedule for the past couple of weeks. I don't know that the Blue Jackets have more than maybe 2 or 3 wins left in the season, which would mean they'd finish with a record of 26 wins in 82 games. It's bad. It's not good. They are at the bottom of the Metro. The next closest team is Philadelphia, that has 15 points on them. It's been a tough season, and it just keeps getting tougher. And honestly, I'm kind of at the point where I'm ready for the season to be done. I've kind of been joking about that for a little while, but I still, I enjoy watching this team. I enjoy rooting for this team. I'm so ready for the season to be done and for these guys to be able to rest and get healthy. And hopefully, next season will be better. They'll get Werenski back. Hopefully Elvis will find his mojo again. They'll have a shiny new first round pick, hopefully a top 3, hopefully a first overall. But, it's tough out there. It really is rough out there. And they're doing their best, but it feels to me like this game tonight is going to go one of 2 ways. They're either going to roll over immediately and it's going to get really ugly, or they're going to rally and have a really improbable win. And I don't know which way it's going to go. I really can't tell you. But my guess is it's probably going to be something like a 6-3 or a 6-2 or a 7-4 win for the Rangers. Let's have Kent Johnson opening the scoring for the Blue Jackets, because he scored a friggin' Michigan, which I didn't even get a chance to talk about. That was another high point of the New York Islanders game, was Kent Johnson scoring a Michigan. Loved that energy from him. Again, just a phenomenal rookie season from him. Love to see it. I believe he's sitting on, I think, 38 points on the season. Matty Beniers, who's leading, I believe, is about 13 or 14 points ahead of him. So, probably he's not going to make up that ground, but still a really, really good rookie season from him. Cole Sillinger had 31 points last season. So he's outdone that. He's not going to hit Pierre-Luc Dubois' rookie record, which I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but still a really good season for Kent Johnson. And I don't know. It sucks that it's ending like this, but hopefully next season will be better. And yes, that was my point, was Kent Johnson's got to open the scoring. I think that just feels right. And that's kind of all I've got for you today. We are going to have a bonus episode coming out tonight. I've got another prospect profile. I talked to Hadi Kalakesh of Dobber Prospects, Locked On NHL Prospects, about Braden Yeager, who could be a really interesting second first-round pick for the Blue Jackets. We talk about him. We talk about why that is. And we talk about all kinds of things. It's a real fun chat that I had with Hadi. So that's going to be up later tonight. And then tomorrow we'll break down tonight's game. We'll start looking ahead to Boston because the rules say that we have to play them. And I've been Jay Foster. You can find me on Twitter at LO_Blue Jackets. Nope, that's the podcast Twitter. You can find me at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFYSTER. You can find the podcast at LO_Blue Jackets. You can find me, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day every day. Locked On Blue Jackets continues to be free and available. We are on every podcasting app of choice. We are on YouTube. Please go and hit the subscribe button over there. It will really make my day a lot better than watching the Blue Jackets. So if that matters to you, then please go and hit the subscribe button. And we'll be back, like I said, tomorrow with a breakdown of tonight's game. Maybe some yelling, maybe some excitement. Who knows? That is all from me today. And until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.